Have you ever been an eyewitness to a traumatic event? If you have been, you will probably remember that your heart began to race and your attention was focused on the activity. Later, you may discuss what you witnessed with others who saw the same event. You were probably in different places relative to the activity, but you were sure that you saw it all. You are also sure that you know the truth, but you discover that others saw things that you didn't, and you saw things that they didn't. This is what I call observational perspective. And this is a foundational principle of relativity and situational truth. I'm Dr. Rich Masek, the author of Ideolatry, God is Not Your Problem. And today, we will consider your version of truth in light of Einstein's theory of relativity. We have been discussing some of the foundations of truth in the last few sessions. Our life filters can have a great impact upon us because they create our perspectives through which we view everything around us. And our perspectives define our version of truth. Let's draw an analogy from the realm of science. And don't worry, I'm not going to try to teach you any math or physics. But Albert Einstein's special theory of relativity in 1905 and his general theory of relativity in 1916 are both demonstrative examples of the concept of relativism. These most famous of all scientific theories of the 20th century are used to explain the origin of the universe as we observe or understand it. These theories are preached as gospel of sorts in circles of scientists and evolutionists. An essential component of these theories is the relative nature of observations, which demands a total lack of any absolutes. Let's use a very familiar situation to just scratch the surface of this concept of relativity and get a better understanding. Imagine three cars driving on a freeway that pass by a stranded motorist in a yellow car. The driver of a red car is going east at a speed of 65 miles per hour. She sees a blue car in her rearview mirror that is approaching her from behind in the lane to her left. The driver of the blue car passes her, traveling at a speed of 70 miles an hour. How does the driver of the blue car perceive the speed of the red car that he passes? He actually passes the red car at a relative speed of only 5 miles per hour because he is only traveling 5 miles per hour faster than the red car. However, the driver of the yellow car, sitting stalled on the side of the road, sees both of them speed by at their full speed of 65 and 70 miles per hour. At the same time, a westbound green car zooms by on the opposite side of the road, also traveling at 70 miles an hour. The blue and green cars, driving in opposite directions, pass each other at a perceived speed of 140 miles an hour. But all of them zoom by the stranded yellow car at their respective speeds. So what is the full truth in this situation? Whose eyewitness account is the most accurate? The stranded driver in the yellow car has the best perspective of what is actually happening, since he is in a relatively stationary position. But does he actually see all of the truth? No, he does not, because he is not actually stationary either. He is actually traveling at 1,000 miles per hour with the rotation of the Earth, which is traveling at 67,000 miles per hour as it orbits our Sun, which along with all of the planets of our solar system are traveling at 514,000 miles per hour around the center of our galaxy. This is why we express our observations in a relative sense, according to Einstein's theory of relativity. This is also why science and philosophy lean toward the concept of relative truth. However, even though we cannot personally observe it, there is an absolute truth that defines all of this. The absolute truth is God's perspective, because He sees it all. This is the truth that the world seeks. Even though mankind tends to believe that all truth is relative, it still seeks the absolute truth, but it can only be found in God. God is the very definition of absolute truth, as described in the Bible. In James chapter 1, verse 17 from the easy-to-read version, we read, Everything good comes from God. Every perfect gift is from Him. These good gifts come down from the Father, who made all the lights in the sky. But God never changes like the shadows from those lights. He is always the same. God is without variation. He has the complete perspective, the perspective of absolute truth. His universe is not relative because He has a complete view of everything. We do not, because our view is hindered by many factors that include our environment, education, observations, and preconceptions. Consider the following. There are many perspectives to any situation. Truth can be stated relative to the observer and his experience. Truth is least seen by the observer closest to the situation. The experience of the observer does not define the truth. God's perspective is truth regardless of our observation. God's character and nature are separate from our experience. By definition, God's Word is truth. On our own, we define truth as it is framed within our own experience and personal perspectives. As hard as we may try, we are fundamentally incapable of seeing actual, absolute truth without God's help. I invite you to read Ideolatry to explore relativity and absolutes in a way that may give you a different perspective. Check it out at ideolatry.com, where you can read my blog and download the free chapter. And I hope you will join me for the next episode, in which we will discuss the ultimate con.